So Apple very quietly just launched an iPad Pro M5 along with like MacBook Pros with the M5 chip. And one of the first things I wanted to do was just like compare it side to side with the iPad Pro M4 that I have, just to see like what were the changes. And I kind of went down the list like a couple of times. I was like, wait, am I missing something? There's literally no change. And so then I thought, I was like, okay, well, why not I share my perspective and my utility that I get with the iPad Pro M4 in the hopes that maybe I can help push you in the right direction, whether that's towards the iPad Pro M5 or maybe a much better alternative like a refurbished M1 iPad Air. So one of the first things I want to start with is exactly how I use this iPad Pro. And one of the major things I do with this is use the display as a monitor for my camera. So right now you can see me in the iPad. This is an app called Monitor and Control. It works with Sony cameras and it's like their own app. And this is really helpful for me as a solo creator simply because I often have the camera very far away from me. But then at the same time, I can just use the iPad to wirelessly connect to the camera and just see what the shot is going to look like. Now, one of my favorite things about this display is just its size and quality. At 11 inch, this makes it a very comfortable experience to just kind of hold in the hand, watch some content, maybe read something, right? It's going to be a really enjoyable experience. And then on top of that, you have a tandem OLED display in here, which is just gorgeous. Like out of all the displays I've used, I'd be lying to you if this wasn't the best one. Which actually brings me to another way I use this, which is as a secondary display for my MacBook Air. And this is just great because this is a very light and small device. At the same time, the MacBook Air is really light. I can put both of them in my backpack and just take it with me anywhere, and I can pop this open and now I've got a 15-inch display and an 11-inch display. So it just makes for a really great experience. Another thing I really enjoy is just how thin and light this is. Like I have trouble with larger devices. I was on an iPad mini and 13 mini for the longest time. And recently I've switched to the iPhone Air, and one of the things I've said in the video reviews is just how great of an experience it is to just pick this up and you feel like you're holding a display. And because this is your phone, right, you're interacting with it a lot more than the iPad. This just gives you that amazing feeling again and again. But likewise, whenever you do stop to sit down, I have this folio case, right? And this has like a little kickstand in it. It's by Pitaka. It's been on my iPad for a long time. But when I go to sit down on the couch, I'll just take this off, watch something, maybe play a game, or maybe read something, right? And it's just such an amazing experience. I really enjoy that. And I again will say this is why I'm in favor of devices getting thinner. Now, speaking of this being thin, right? Believe it or not, this is actually thinner than the iPhone Air, which is just insane when you look at all the capabilities that this has to offer. Like, this can even record in ProRes video, which is something I've recently been talking a lot about with the Pro devices when it comes to the iPhones. So that capability is there too. The rear camera, the LiDAR, there's a lot going on here. But see, if you were to ask me how I use my MacBook Air, I would give you so many reasons. So many reasons why that machine at like $1,100 is editing videos. I'm using it for entertainment, using it for work, so many different things. But with this iPad, I've just told you everything I love about it. Because, like, when I was going to buy this, I was trading in a couple of things and I was like, you know what? Why not? Like, I'm not, you know how, like, when you're not like really paying out of pocket, even though you are because you actually paid for those devices that you're trading in? It's one of those things. And then on top of that, I was really upset that the iPad mini 7 didn't get the updates that I was hoping it would get. And so I was like, you know what? I'll just go with the iPad Pro. And it was great. Like I mentioned, I love the displays, love so many things about this, but am I tapping into that performance? Am I tapping into the potential with these cameras, with this LiDAR? Not at all. I would have to lie to you to say that, you know what? I bought this for $1,000 and it was the best thing I did. No doubt this is an amazing display, and there's no saying that how or why you choose to buy a device has to be because you're going to take advantage of it. But to be very honest, that's how I like to do it with my devices. Like when I'm getting a lot of utility out of a device, like if I look at my Mac Mini, it's like almost half the price of this, right? But it does so much for me from video editing. That's my work desk and I'm there like every single day. I'm taking meetings at that computer. I'm doing so many things with that computer. Likewise with the MacBook Air, so many things. But then I come here and there's only like a few use cases I have for it. And that's what prompted me right before this video to think that maybe if I go and buy a refurbished older iPad and I just switch to that just for the sake of an experiment, and let me know in the comments if you think this is a good idea, just to see like would I actually miss anything. And I'm pretty sure if it's like an iPad that doesn't have ProMotion, I might miss that screen. But guess what? The cool thing about us is that our bodies can very easily adapt, right? If you're used to ProMotion displays, right, when you go back, you're going to notice it for a few days. Like if I pick up an iPhone that doesn't have a ProMotion display right now, I would notice the difference. But just a couple months ago when I was on the 16E, I was fine with it. So, yes, you might miss a few things here and there, but everything I just described to you, everything I talked about, using it as a secondary display, using it as a camera monitor, using it for all the different things I've mentioned, I could do that on an older iPad without any issue. So when you look at the iPad Pro M5 and you're looking to buy it and spend $1,000, and then you're probably going to add a keyboard and then the Apple Pencil, it's something really to think about whether or not you're going to get utility out of that device. Because if I look at everything I've bought this year, whether it's been my Mac Mini or MacBook Air, my iPhone Air, and then this iPad was actually last year, I believe. And so if I look at all that stuff, like one of the devices that I'm not really pushing to its max or actually utilizing is the iPad Pro. So I looked up what could I get as a refurbished iPad. I found an M1 iPad Air 11-inch and that was 379. So that's almost a third of the cost of this iPad or an iPad Pro M5. And I can promise you, sure, I'll miss the tandem OLED display and I'll miss the higher refresh rate. But after a couple days and I get used to it, I think that would be a more suitable iPad for me. Simply because like I know for a fact that I can get by with that iPad doing all the things I'm already doing just on a lesser quality display that doesn't have a higher refresh rate. And this brings me to maybe it's a good idea to wait out. Why not? I mean, if you look at the iPhone 17 and the iPhone Air and how they got the ProMotion display and that trickle down from the Pro devices, as soon as that happens with the iPad, I really think it's going to change the iPad going forward. A lot of people are not going to need to be buying these iPads specifically. Now, obviously, if you fall into that category, then yeah, you're somebody that is going to use the LiDAR, use the cameras, and there's a lot of people that use these Pro iPads for Pro things. But I'm simply not that user. And if I had to do it over again, I wouldn't want to spend $1,000 on this when I know that I spent 1,100 on a MacBook Air and I can get so much more utility out of it. So hopefully this little experience of mine with the iPad Pro M4 can kind of shed some light on the thoughts that you have going on in your mind and whether or not the iPad Pro would actually be the right device for you. Or maybe you're better off getting a refurbished iPad that's going to just suit you a lot better and you'll get more utility out of it. If you found some value here, give me a thumbs up so more people can find this video. Do comment down below with any questions you have. And I know sometimes I can take a little bit longer because I have busy work days and everything, but I will make my way around and I make sure I make my way around to everyone. So Definitely write a comment if you have a specific question. And most importantly, take care of yourself. And I will see you in the next video.